I want to talk about two songs. I'm going to go just a drop out of order here because they strike me as two that kind of are cut from the same cloth. The Pound is Sinking and Dress Me Up as a Robber. They remind me so much of those pastiche type songs that we've always loved from you, things like Uncle Albert, where they're like kind of songs within the songs. They're their own little identity. How do you weave those seemingly disparate musical and lyrical even ideas together in a way that makes them make perfect sense?
I'm glad to hear they make perfect sense. It's just something I like to do. So if you're talking about art and paintings, I kind of like surrealism quite a bit. So, if someone puts a bowler hat on an apple, what's that mean? What's that about? But there's something attractive to me. It gets your imagination going. So I've always liked that. And when I was at school, we would study. I did English literature and got quite fascinated by some of the stuff, some of which was a little bit oddball, surreal. It was attractive because of that. It wasn't just Jack and Jill go up the hill. Yeah. It was more complex and kind of made you think. And so some of the stuff I'd read in school intrigued me. And when I met John, we loved Lewis Carroll and the Alice in Wonderland things. And some of that is very far out. Like Jabberwocky it's more far out than anything I've ever done or John's ever done. But we liked that. So that was the attraction for me, was that you could do a song that was like other songs, but you could put in words that were more surreal and that made you think. And but you've got to get it so that you can sing those. I mean, you can't just put fancy words in. It's got to be fancy words that sing well. So like a song like Monkberry Moon Delight, I loved writing that and singing that. And Dress Me Up as a Robber, it's a fantasy. It's like an Alice in Wonderland thing. It's if you filmed it, it'd have to be pretty far out. You couldn't just, get a couple of people to stand there and do it. You'd have to put some sort of fantastic effects on it. So that's the answer, is just that I like that. I'd always liked that. Meeting with John, we both liked that. So, when we came to write things like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, we relished the idea of kaleidoscope eyes and newspaper taxis because, it was surreal, but you got it. It set your imagination on fire. So, Dress Me Up as a Robber and Pound is Sinking. Well, mind you, the Pound is sinking. The pound was sinking. And we always get those little episodes in life. Yeah. Looks like we're kind of going through one now, right, where suddenly, the economic situation isn't as good as it has been. And that people are hurting. And say in the newspapers, there was a lot about the pound is sinking. And I'm sure I took it right off a headline. The pound is sinking against the dollar, and you go, oh, holy cow. But for me, I just get on with it. Yeah. I know it's going to swing back. Pendulum's coming back, so it doesn't worry me too much. But the idea that, the pound and the pesos and the lira and all the currencies of the world were at one point or another going to be in some kind of fluctuation. Huh. So it seemed to me that it was material for like kind of surreal song.